It's Badminton World, the show that brings you all things badminton. We're officially into the second half of the 2012 badminton calendar when tournaments, especially the OSIM BWF World Superseries, shift into a higher gear with higher rewards at stake. We have results from the leading Singapore Open, plus we learn about the importance of balance in shuttle time, all coming up in the next hour. We also make our monthly appointment with one of the world's best badminton players. This time we get to sit down with India's Saina Nehwal. We start this month's Badminton World with the biggest and best of them all, the highly regarded Super Series, which over the years has become a flagship event for the sport. It's a must for players and fans alike, but how did it get to be so prestigious and world-renowned? The answer is in the details. Inaugurated in 2007, the OSIM BWF World Superseries has played out annually its 12-tournament series, where only the best badminton players compete throughout the year for a place in the season finale, the BWF World Superseries Finals, that ends the regular season, where the top 8 men's and women's singles players, top 8 men's and women's doubles pairs, and top 8 mixed doubles pairs fight for the right to be called Champion of Champions. From Changzhou to Copenhagen, players tour the series to earn valuable world ranking points towards their BWF World Ranking used in the qualifications for the BWF World Championships and other events, including the Olympic Games. By the end of 2010, it was determined that the series was ready to be taken to a new level of sophistication, and thus a 2-tier Super Series circuit, where 5 of the 12 Super Series events were selected as Super Series Premier. The Premier events were bigger, better, and most importantly, richer in terms of prize money.
The tournaments with the biggest prize money is attractive for the players. The more prize money, the more players will actually go for these tournaments. And then I think it's also important that the setup around the tournaments, such as how professionally the tournament is presented, how much television exposure will come out of the tournament, is very important for players as well. And obviously the higher level tournaments will have a better setup, more professional setup, and will also be exposed more to the world, which is an interest for the players as well.
And it's a lot of money, with the minimum total prize purse $250,000 for a regular Super Series event and $350,000 for each tournament on the recently added Premier tier. The Premier events also hold higher ranking points and have since topped the list in terms of size, with the Korea Open offering a massive $1.2 million prize purse, the highest ever for a badminton tournament, cementing a significant milestone for the sport. As for the points, these days, your world ranking is your identity in almost any sport. So to standardize all the badminton tournaments, BWF also implemented a new world ranking in 2007. Points would be calculated based on the results or the round a player reaches, including the qualification round. These ranking points were also chosen to represent a Super Series ranking, which could determine which players, throughout the course of the regular season, would qualify for the Super Series final. They range from 9,200 points for a Super Series win and 11,000 for a Premier win, right down to 40 points for coming 500th at a Super Series event and 520 if you finish above 128th at a Premier event.
Players, they choose their tournaments with big care. Obviously, players at the highest levels, such as Linda and Lee Chong-Wei's of this world, they obviously have to plan their season in advance and have to choose tournaments that, first of all, give them sufficient points and obviously also in terms of winning prize money and placing themselves on the world ranking at a sufficiently high level to actually qualify for the biggest tournaments.
Badminton. No sport comes close. Over the last 4 years, the event calendar has settled into a format known to all, with the year usually starting with an Asian leg that comprises Malaysia, Korea, and Singapore all staging regular opens, with the only European trip being the All England in March. The other European ties have been the Danish and French Opens before a return to Asia in the latter half of the year that includes Hong Kong. But every one of the 12 events staged has to be executed to perfection, which calls for planning.
The presentation of every Super Series event now looks so good. It's just, the whole thing is so much more professional in the look, the production, the players supporting it more. All parties, all interested parties have all got on board and have actually raised the bar, raised the level, and that's fantastic.
And of everyone watching, there is one figure at every sporting event that watches a little closer than everyone else. The official, the man in black, the referee, and in badminton's case, the umpire, who has his own fight for selection to face if he wants to be the man who makes the calls.
The role of the umpires, we have to supervise not only the matches and the hall, but we have also to participate in the preparation of the tournament. We have to decide about the size of the draw or about the layout of courts and so on and so on. For Super Series, Premier events, there are strict rules, and of course we have to watch if everything is done according to the rules. So this is the preparation during the tournament. Of course we are focused on play mainly, but also we follow all the decisions of organizing committee, of other people around, and we try to coordinate their activities and of course keep the rules of BWF, Badminton World Federation.
Other than the location and the man to enforce the rules, there are other environmental factors that have to be managed by a logistics team looking to host any Super Series event, and they come with their own challenges.
And if there is not balance with outlets of wind, it can make a draft. And of course, it can influence the game. It's difficult to prevent this. We can try to reduce the wind, but we cannot switch off air condition because of temperature, so it can be a problem. And of course some players and especially coaches sometimes think that it's possible to cheat with this, to switch on a bit more or less, to have some advantage to one side and disadvantage to second side. But as I know, it didn't happen yet.
Everything must be perfect or as close to as possible for the 32 players that make the main draw over 6 days of action, sometimes twice a month in different parts of the world. It leads to a truly fascinating circuit every year that attracts fans and players from many different backgrounds and cultures. For some of the players, some events hold memories that they won't soon forget. Badminton. No sport comes close.
It's time for a break, but before that, another badminton brain teaser for you. Do you know who was the first men's singles champion at the very first Super Series event? Coming up next, we take a look at the TV behind the Super Series that broadcast to millions around the globe, plus highlight from the Leaning Singapore Open. So stay tuned to Badminton World.
I'm Nehwal. You're watching Badminton World.
Welcome back to Badminton World. So how did you do with our badminton brain teaser before the break? Peter Gade was the right answer at the Malaysia Open in 2007 when he beat Bao Chunlai in the final. Continuing our Shuttle Time series, the BWF's unique program to develop grassroots badminton keeps getting stronger every month. This time around, it's all about balance.
Pupils with rackets use the thumb grip to tap and control the balloon on the backhand side. Emphasize small follow-through for control and safety.
Be here next month for another tip from the pros. Log on to bwfshuttletime.com to find out how the BWF Schools program is bringing badminton to a school near you.
It was champions like Peter Gade in those early years and the more recent successes of Lee Chongwei, Lin Dan, the three Wangs of the women's game, and Zhao Li Yang, Chai Yun Fu Haifeng in the doubles that have separated the Super Series from other badminton tournaments and elevated it as a flagship event for the sport, which is key to growing and developing it into a global phenomenon. Like the US Open in tennis or the Champions League in football, premier tournaments are the ones that always lead the headlines. Once the Super Series started, people and investment followed quickly. OSIM, a global leader in branded well-being and healthy lifestyle products, put some backbone into the structure by coming on board as a series title sponsor in 2011. As a company that has operated for 2 decades, OSIM has more than 1,000 outlets in 223 cities across 29 countries in Asia, Oceania, Africa, the Middle East, Europe, and North America. They believe that their own philosophy of challenging your spirit to do your best applied equally to sports, business, and life in general.
OSIM is actually a leading health and wellness brand in Asia, and they have always been involved in sports sponsorship in their own country of Singapore. So they actually done a lot of sports sponsorship, and they always believe that the attributes of sports resonate very well with their brand values and images. And badminton came along because the Super Series came along, and they are very attracted to the product because it has a strong global outreach, as well as it being very Asian focused, which is in line with OSIM's direction of reaching out to the Asian market through sports. Hence, they see the value that the Super Series, the BWF Super Series, can give to them.
Encouraging growth and still, in terms of sporting events, a very young tournament at just 6 years old, but one with enough solidity and pedigree to attract not just the sponsors, but also the media. Good tournaments that are global in focus in any sporting discipline make for great TV, and the Super Series has, over the years since its inception, become the prime highlight of the badminton calendar, with countless recorded programs aired throughout the world. In addition to the live broadcasts of each of the 12 events themselves throughout the season, it is a mammoth undertaking that happens every year at every venue for hundreds of media, production, and broadcast crews that follow every move of both the players and the competition.
We have a minimum standard of 9 cameras for all Super Series events. That gives us plenty of angles to work from. It gives us good live coverage, but importantly, it gives the director a chance to show all the best replays and to show the players in their best performance.
To spread the message worldwide, the governing body also enlists the help of the very best production companies and distributors in all areas of their competitions for their television production and marketing, for better mileage and to increase the popularity of badminton as a sport. They make sure that all the crews are in their required and allowed spots, check positioning and viewpoints, plus handle all the pre- and post-interviews with the world's top badminton players.
Well, for the Super Series events since 2011, it's been a massive improvement in the actual production standards. We have a definitive TV guideline that all the different host broadcasters in the different countries must follow. So they provide lots of different crews. Some will come with maybe 30 or 40 crew, anything up to 100 crew, depending on their own interpretation of those guidelines. With those guidelines, we try to produce a homogeneous TV series or homogeneous television coverage that everyone seeing, whether it's an event from Japan or from the UK, whether it's from China or from India, the coverage will look the same. You will know that it's a Super Series event and the quality is there.
After the long hours of recording at the event itself, the work never stops there, as the various programs will make their way through an ever-growing distribution network of channels and digital media that result in badminton being watched in a number of countries, including the likes of America and South Africa, where the sport has yet to find its feet and is regularly eclipsed on TV screens by the likes of American football, basketball, and of course rugby. It is a first step for those places of the world to possibly reach the status of China, Malaysia, and Indonesia, where badminton has always had a strong following. In those countries, fans have the choice of either the comfort of their homes, watching both live and recorded programming, or they can soak up the event live at the packed stadiums when the Super Series comes to their city. If they do, they can expect the usual busy atmosphere that surrounds each event, filled with F&B outlets, VIP rooms, media rooms, and player lounges, where the players can, in total comfort, catch up on the results of rivals and teammates. As with all sport, watching it is one thing, being there is what it's always been about.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
Coming up next, we have action from the Leaning Singapore Open, and we find out more about India's badminton jewel, Saina Nehwal. So stay tuned to Badminton World.
你现在在收看的是 Badminton World。
We're back with Match Point and the Leaning Singapore Open, where there was never a more emotional moment on a badminton court as vivid as when Julienne Schenk sank to her knees after winning the women's singles final in the Lion City. Schenk has been in 3 BWF World Superseries finals before this, and for a 29-year-old with nearly a decade experience in the senior circuit, her first World Superseries title win had taken a long time coming. In fact, it has been over 2 years since a women's singles World Superseries title was won by a European. The men's singles title went to another veteran, Boonsak Ponsana, who at 30 outwitted his much younger opponent from China. This was only Ponsana's second World Super Series title, both won in Singapore, and his win denied Wang Zhengming the opportunity to record his first. Ponsana played a smart game to outwit Zhengming. The Chinese 22-year-old was devastating when he got his opportunity to unleash the smash, but Ponsana worked the net game, disallowing Zhengming the freedom to unleash his attacking side. Eventually, the greater experience of the tie made all the difference as he capitalized on an error from Zhengming and nailed the final on his first match point. In other matches of the day, China's Bao Yixin and Zhong Qianxin overpowered Chinese Taipei's Cheng Wen-Xing and Chen Yuqin 21-12, 21-17 for the women's doubles, though Cheng Wen-Xing then teamed up with Cheng Hun-Ling to win a gold for Taipei following their 21-17, 21-11 victory in the mixed doubles. Finally, 2008 Olympic champions Marquise Kido and Hendra Setiawan made an emphatic return to form by taking the men's doubles over Ko Sung-hyun and Yu Yeon-seong 21-11, 26-24. As it turned out, all the winners in Singapore were from different countries again, just as it had happened at the Jarum Indonesia Open the preceding week.
Time to look at the current standings of all the top international players according to the latest BWF World Rankings. For more information, you can, of course, visit the BWF official website.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
Up next on our hit list of the top players, the one woman who delivers honest fear into the hearts of the all-conquering three Wangs in the women's game. She's a national icon in her home country after being the first Indian player to win a Super Series and then cemented her reputation as the #1 by winning the Commonwealth Games in 2010. It is none other than Saina Nehwal. Born in Dinda, Haryana, she completed the first few years of her schooling at a campus school. Her father, a scientist at the Directorate of Oilseeds Research, and her mother, Usha Nehwal, both of whom were former badminton champions in Haryana, initially worked in their residence in the university campus. He later shifted to Hyderabad, where Saina would spend her growing years and take up the family tradition of badminton, though it wasn't easy at first.
And I never used to like playing badminton because it was too much of a, I used to feel like it's too tiring and, you have to run a lot for this game. Anyway, I used to play a lot of sports, but was not really interested in badminton. But when we shifted to another place from where I was born, my father got promoted and I had no friends over there to play any sports. So finally, we got to know that badminton is really popular in that state. And then that's how I started playing badminton. And the first day I played badminton, I felt really good. I just loved the game, and from there on till today I've been playing it and I've been loving it so much that I can't even say, because I feel so happy when I hold the racket and when I run around the court, so it's amazing.
Strangely, she was not the only girl in her hometown who would achieve international sporting success. Hyderabad was also the starting point for tennis player Sania Mirza, who sometimes is confused for her shuttling counterpart.
I feel good because she's also my friend, and she's done so well at the international level, and still most of the people confuse Sania. So sometimes it does irritate, but then I understand totally, because she played really well and she was everywhere, so people tend to confuse. So it's all right. And I'm happy that two Hyderabadis are doing really well in the world. And I hope till we both continue to play, we achieve a lot more. And I don't mind people getting confused, but nowadays they understand who Saina is and who Sania is. And badminton is also coming at a higher level in India.
In 2006, Saina burst on the global scene when she became the first Indian woman to win a 4-star tournament, the Philippines Open. She then became the first Indian woman to reach the quarterfinals at the Olympic Games in a meteoric rise that was noticed by all in the badminton fraternity, not just for her playing, but for her character.
I think she's very reserved, stubborn at times, but has a huge work ethic, and she could work a lot on court.
Almost a national icon, Saina was signed up by Olympic Gold Quest to support her in fulfilling her Olympic dreams in London. She's also the brand ambassador of the Deccan Chargers, an Indian Premier League cricket team, in addition to being one of the 8 brand ambassadors of the 2010 Commonwealth Games, all as a result of her strength and determination.
Once you win and once you're at the highest level, they pray you like a god. And the moment I started getting a lot of advertisements, they started comparing me with the Bollywood actresses and all that. So it does happen, but once you start failing and once you start, if you don't perform well, then the way that they discourage you, criticize you, it really hurts. But I love India because they even love all the players like anything, because it's really important that fan support is always there. And I feel really happy in Hyderabad, where I stay. Fans are really good. They support me every day. Every day I see my mail, 100 of mails coming there, and they support me. They're like, Saina, go do well and win tournament for us. So it encourages me. But at the same time, sometimes the criticism also hurts. But I'm dealing with it, and I'm happy to be an Indian.
Saina has had a less than perfect 2 years since 2010, niggled with injuries which led her to focus her energies on premier tournaments over ranking points. That year still proved to be magical as she won 3 titles, but more importantly, it taught her how to better prepare for the big tournaments.
Just visualize the game a little bit. Nothing like, I don't listen to music or anything. I just shut my eyes and think about the match for like 10-15 minutes and then start warming up. So it makes me tense if I listen to music. I can't concentrate. So for me, it's easy to just shut my eyes and think about the game and be with my coach and just ask him about my mistakes and my opponent's mistake, and that's all. Just warm up and be ready.
This year, Saina has been finding her form again just in time for the Olympics, winning the Thailand Open Grand Prix Gold Final, which she followed by successfully reclaiming the Indonesian Championship by beating the red-hot Lee Zhu-Ru. It was her 3rd Indonesian Open title, having won it twice before in 2009 and 2010.
I think 2011 with the initial part with some injuries and coming back from those, and then finishing off the year with the Super Series finals, Grand Prix finals. I think it's been a pretty decent year.
She was welcomed back to the circuit after those injuries by not just the coaches, but also the other players.
Nehwal is good, I mean friendly and very kind and down towards earth. And on court, she's very, very aggressive on court.
But as always on Badminton World, it's not just about the serious side of the player and the game. We like to find out what makes them tick.
I love watching movies. I'm a big movie buff. I love Shah Rukh Khan. He's my favorite hero, and I love shopping. And whenever I get some time, I go out for lunch or dinner. And I love listening to music. My dream was to become a doctor because my father is a scientist. He works in agriculture, and all my family members, my father's brothers, and all of them are in agriculture, and they are scientists. So I also thought I wanted to be a doctor, but slowly when I started playing badminton, then my mother's dream was that she should become an international player, and then even my dream turned into a badminton player, and from there on it's only winning medals at the international level. I used to look up to Gopi sir because he also won the All England Championship in 2001. So I was really inspired by him, and that was just the second year of my me starting badminton, and I got a lot inspired by him that one Indian can do so well at the international level. Why not me? So for me it was Gopi Chand that time, and after that Tawfiq Hidayat. Obviously he's great. I used to love the way he used to move on the court, and badminton used to look so easy, although it's not easy, but he used to make badminton so easy, which, you know, it's a treat to watch him. Roger Federer, I think he's class. He's been dominating tennis from, I think, 7-8 years, and the way he conducts himself on court, really cool, patient, and never hurries up, and the way he gives his interviews, his respect to other players, I think everything is amazing, and he looks good also. No, it will give me extra motivation, and I'll be more than happy to perform well in front of him, and I will really want to win that match. Even if I'm playing world #1, I'm sure I will win that match.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
So far, all the major tournaments of the first half of 2012 have been intense and definitely competitive. Next up, the Leaning China Masters. For more information, visit BWF's official website.
That's all the time we have for you this month, and as always, we end with this month's selected Super Series moment. Don't forget, if you have a favorite Super Series moment of your own to add to our growing archive, then send it over to badmintonworld@totalsportsasia.com. So much happening next month, so make sure you're with us to catch up on all the latest news, views, and results from the 2012 badminton season. So it's goodbye from us for now from Badminton World. It's the world we know.